Okay, so it's looking like Stephen A. Smith doing all of that yapping about his former co-host, Max Kellerman.
Max Kellerman.
Yeah.
What was the rub there? Why wasn't that show as successful as other partners that you've had in that spot?
Lack of chemistry. Believe it or not, it was more his fault than mine.
You know, it rubs people the wrong way over there at ESPN. And there's some reports coming out about, you know, there's more people that don't want to work with Stephen A. Smith. Remember the reports that came out not too long ago? People were saying that, you know, Stephen A. Smith changed when he got Shannon Sharpe hired over there at ESPN First Take. They feel like, you know, it's just Stephen A. Smith and Shannon and, you know, they're just friends and buddy-buddy. That report had came out not too long ago when Shannon Sharpe had signed his lucrative deal with ESPN.
That, oh, the Shannon and Stephen A. is calling tension. I'm like, what kind of tension? The only people that's ever heard my voice on the phone, B.I., Bob Iger, CEO of Disney, Jimmy Pitaro, basically number 2, him and Burke Magnus, and Dave Roberts. I've been to New York 5 times in the studio. Ash has been with me every time. Jordan's been with me every time. I walk in there, I nod, I speak, I get my clothes out the closet, go into the green, go into our room, I get dressed, I go to the show, I do the show, I go home. They came to, how many times did they come to LA, Ash? 2, 3? Yeah, a lot of times, most of the time when I'm doing the show, Ocho, I'm doing it just like this. I'm in the box.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out, I've never been on a call. I've never been on a call. When they're discussing topics, Shannon Sharpe has never been on a call.
Now, they did respond to those rumors. Shannon Sharpe dismissed them. Stephen A. Smith dismissed those rumors as well. They did it separately on their podcast. But I would like to get into this new report about Stephen A. Smith and Monday Night Football because apparently there's some people over there that doesn't want him to work with them as well because they say, you know, his antics and just how he is and just how he has been lately. You got to keep in mind, guys, these people are trying to make a name for themselves and have a career just like Stephen A. Smith. But when you have a powerhouse come to your show like a Stephen A. Smith who has all of this power at ESPN, who can literally move the needle as far as saying, you know, to the bosses like, hey, I want this done. I want that done. I don't like this. I don't like that. That makes people uncomfortable who's trying to make a name for themselves or, you know, just trying to get established. Or if the show is already running good, why would you want to add a Stephen A. Smith over there, right? Because look at what he did to Max Kellerman. You know, he's still talking about Max Kellerman. You got to think about the guys that's working there. Why do you keep talking about your former co-hosts who haven't said a word about you publicly yet? You know, it just rubs people the wrong way, and that just makes people not to work alongside Stephen A. Smith, in my opinion. So let's get into this report, guys. So as we can see right here from this post from the Daily Mail, it says Stephen A. Smith's NFL dream left in ruins as ESPN's Monday Night Football crew has zero interest in working with him because of one red flag. It says Stephen A. Smith envisions himself working on Monday Night Football, but his ESPN teammates on the program reportedly have zero interest in the prospect of him joining them. Smith, the star of the network daily debate show First Take, has risen to extreme prominence at the network and makes a whopping $12 million a year. And while he wants to add Monday Night Football to his long list of responsibilities, a source told the U.S. Sun that members of the show have major questions regarding his football acumen and attitude. The source, who works on the show, says Stephen A. Smith said that he is looking to do more NFL and eyeing Monday Night Football, but I think he doesn't realize that nobody wants him here. Nobody wants him covering football, and many of the top analysts were talking about since he did that interview where Smith said so. They were laughing about it. Some were saying that there is no way he joins us. He is not one of us football guys, and he wants the whole attention in all the spotlights. The source added that the perception of Smith not being a team player is a huge red flag. They don't want to work with him as they know the reputation and the high tense environment that he created at First Take. The workers talk to each other. They absolutely dislike him and do not want to deal with him. Smith previously admitted that he didn't like working alongside ex-First Take co-host Max Kellerman. The U.S. Sun report comes after Smith told Front Office Sports of his ambitions to expand his horizons past the NBA network he is known for and into NFL coverage on Monday Night Football. So I want to give you guys a quote that Stephen A. Smith told Front Office Sports. Let's get into that right here. As you guys can see, this is what Stephen A. Smith told Front Office Sports. It kind of rubbed a lot of the other guys that works over there at ESPN Monday Night Football. So I guess this quote kind of rubbed those guys the wrong way. Let's check out this quote right here. Stephen A. Smith said, "I don't want to insult the legacy of the great Howard Cosell, who's somebody that I idolize, but that's what I want to do," Smith told me during ESPN's recent media day here. "When I think about the NFL, I'm talking about being in a booth with Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. You don't mess with that chemistry, you leave that alone, but I'm unapologetic about what I want. I would love to be a part of Monday Night Football. I would love to work with Monday Night Countdown's new cast, including Jason Kelce and Scott Van Pelt and Ryan Clark. And my man, Marcus Spears. I mean, two of those guys are on First Take." And there's more about it. It says ESPN pays $2.7 billion annually for Monday Night Football, and the NFL is its most important rights partner. Not to mention, ESPN is gearing up to aggressively cover its first Super Bowl in 2027 like it's never been covered before. According to the president of content, Burt Magnus, as part of its last media rights deal, Disney ESPN scored the rights to its first two Super Bowls after the 2026 and 2030 seasons. So yeah, guys, that's the quote right there. I think people feel like, Stephen A. Smith is not going to do the groundwork. And I think if Stephen A. Smith were to show he's willing to do the groundwork, he's willing to take lesser roles, he's willing to not get right into the spotlight, to show that crew that you're not just bigger than us just because you have a name and you think you can just come over here and cover the sport, where you have a lot of former NFL guys over there that's covering the sport beautifully, mind you. Nobody's talking about how bad ESPN NFL coverage is. You see a lot of stuff with ESPN First Take and how they cover the NBA. They added a lot of drama and mix to that situation, right? So you got to think these guys are like, yo, this is Monday Night Football. We're not here for the antics. We're not here for the politics. We're not here for, the drama and everything and the chaos that you bring. So, you got to show these guys that you're willing to come over there, be a partner. Don't come over there, poke your chest out, start going to the bosses at ESPN, telling them you want this done, you want that done. And just because, you're cool with the bosses and how you run First Take, don't think you can just come over here and do that with Monday Night Football. And I think that's why Stephen A. rubs a lot of those guys the wrong way, because how he constantly talks about his hand that he has on First Take. And I think that just rubs people the wrong way, man, when you can just pick and choose your partners and pick and choose who you have on your show. And we see the outcome of that because we see how they run ESPN First Take. It's more drama filled. It's more about the on-air personalities. It's more about trying to chase clicks than instead of it being about the sport. So I can understand why you got guys that are alarmed that Stephen A. Smith wants to come over there on ESPN Monday Night Football crew and try to change up the formula, because that's how Stephen A. Smith is, man. He's going to do that. He's going to want to make it about him. He's going to want that spotlight. He's going to want to try to create more drama and narratives, just like how when he was reporting on MMA and Joe Rogan had to call him out for that. And then Stephen A. Smith responded to Joe Rogan.
Mad respect to Joe Rogan. Nothing but respect for the man and the tremendous work that he has done and will continue to do throughout the years and for years to come. But you're wrong on this one, my man. Me, Stephen A. Smith, me being at the Conor McGregor fight against Cowboy Cerrone, saying what I said, that he didn't show us much in 40 seconds, that warrants, it's not good for the sport. It's not good for me. It's not good for ESPN. First of all, as it pertains to ESPN, check the numbers. The subscribers to ESPN Plus, the level of attention that it got, the traffic that it generated in digital and beyond. Check the numbers, number one. That's not just because of me. That's because of you, because of Ario, because of Chael, because of Michael Bisping, and everybody else associated with it. Check the numbers, number one. Not good for the sport. I think that's good for the sport. I certainly don't claim to be the aficionado you are or anybody else covering this sport, but excuse me, I have been a reporter for 25 years. I have covered sports on a variety of competitive levels, regardless of what the sport is. That includes boxing and the UFC. And I don't give a damn if I did it. It don't take much to look at 3 shoulder shots to the nose that Conor McGregor gave Cowboy Cerrone, watching him fold inside of 20 seconds, knowing that he only got 1 strike off. And oh, by the way, that was blocked by Conor. It doesn't take much to look at the fight and say, excuse me, I didn't see enough to convince me that Conor in a rematch against Nurmagomedov, that wouldn't cut it.
And Stephen A. Smith knows that ESPN is going to give him more coverage as far as working him a lot more when he signs his new contract. But I think Stephen A., he just doesn't want to constantly cover NBA like that. Now with his new contract, he's probably going to negotiate, hey, I want a spot over here at Monday Night Football. So figure it out, work it out. And those guys are trying to send a message loud and clear like, hey, we do not want this guy over here, especially if he's going to try to bring that ESPN First Take debate culture over here. So I would love for you guys to get in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your thoughts about today's video. If you like videos like this, I'll do more videos like this, guys. So smash that thumbs up button if you made it this far in the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. And comment down new sub if you're a new sub. Catch you guys on the next video. And we out, guys. Peace.